Ever wondered where Halloween originated? Well, let's go back in time, 2,000 years ago, to the Celtic festival of Samhain. This ancient festivity marked the end of the harvest season, a time of bounty and preparation. As the last crops were gathered and the days grew shorter, the Celts celebrated Samhain, signalling the transition from the lighter half of the year to the darker one. But it wasn't just about welcoming winter. The Celts believed that this transition blurred the boundaries between the world of the living and that of the spirits. A sense of trepidation filled the air, as they believed the spirits of the deceased would return to the earthly realm during Samhain. But it wasn't all fear and dread. The Celts also saw this as an opportunity to communicate with their ancestors, seek guidance, and gain insight into the future. Bonfires were lit to guide the spirits, while feasts were held in their honor. Over time, as the Roman Empire expanded its territories, it eventually reached the Celtic lands. With this conquest, the Romans brought along their own cultural practices and traditions, which began to merge with those of the Celts. One of these was the festival of Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. Meanwhile, another Roman tradition that influenced Samhain was the celebration of Pomona, the goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, which might explain why apple bobbing became a popular game during Halloween. As centuries passed, these ancient practices evolved, influenced by Christianity. By the 9th century, the influence of the Church had turned Samhain into All Hallows' Eve, a day preceding All Saints' Day. Over time, All Hallows' Eve was abbreviated and eventually became known as Halloween. So the spooky, spirit-filled holiday we know today has its roots in an ancient Celtic tradition. Moving on to a well-known symbol of Halloween, the jack-o'-lantern. But did you know it wasn't always a pumpkin? In fact, the tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns originates from Ireland, where people initially used turnips, not pumpkins. Yes, you heard it right, turnips. The term jack-o'-lantern comes from an Irish folktale about a man named Stingy Jack, who tricked the devil and was doomed to roam the earth with only a hollowed turnip to light his way. People began carving scary faces into turnips, placing a light inside and displaying them to ward off evil spirits, including the wandering Stingy Jack. When Irish immigrants arrived in America, they found that pumpkins, native to their new home, were far easier to carve into lanterns. Hence, the pumpkin took over the role of the turnip. So, next time you carve a pumpkin, remember its turnip ancestor, trick or treat. This phrase is synonymous with Halloween, but where did it come from? The tradition of trick-or-treating has ancient roots that trace back to the early Celtic celebrations. During the festival of Samhain, it was believed that the veil between our world and the spirit world was at its thinnest. To appease the wandering spirits who might cross over, people would leave out food and treats. As the centuries rolled on, this practice evolved. In medieval Britain, souling became popular. Children and the poor would go door to door, offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes, sweet pastries given out by the household. Fast forward to the 20th century in America, where the practice transformed into a more recognizable form of trick-or-treating. Children began to dress up in costumes, going from house to house asking for treats, usually candies. So the next time you hand out candy, remember it's all in the name of appeasing ancient spirits. From superheroes to ghosts, costumes are a big part of Halloween. But do you know why we dress up? Let's take a step back in history. The tradition of wearing costumes on Halloween dates back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts believed that during Samhain, the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest. To avoid unwanted attention from spirits and ghosts, people would dress up in frightful costumes, hoping to blend in with the supernatural visitors. They thought that the scarier the costume, the less likely they were to be noticed by these otherworldly beings. It's fascinating to think how this ancient practice has evolved into the fun, creative tradition we know today. From ghoulish masks to pop culture icons, Halloween costumes have come a long way. So next time you're choosing your Halloween attire, remember, the scarier your costume, the safer you are, or so our ancestors believed. From candy corn to haunted houses, Halloween is filled with unique traditions. Let's start with a polarizing Halloween classic, candy corn. This tri-colored candy was invented in the 1880s by George Renninger and was originally named chicken feed. The shape and colours were designed to represent the appearance of corn kernels. Despite its love it or loathe it reputation, it remains a staple of Halloween festivities even today. Moving on, let's delve into the spooky world of haunted houses. The concept of haunted houses originated in the 19th century. It was inspired by the Gothic literature of the time, which often featured grand, eerie mansions as settings for supernatural events. Over time, this idea evolved into the Halloween haunted house attractions we know today, offering thrills and chills to visitors eager for a spooky experience. But Halloween wouldn't be the same without the presence of its unofficial mascot, the black cat. In the Middle Ages, black cats were often associated with witchcraft and were thought to be witches' familiars. This superstition carried over to the Halloween tradition, and black cats became a symbol of the holiday. Our journey through Halloween traditions wouldn't be complete without a nod to the Celtic festival of Samhain. Celebrated from October 31st to November 1st, Samhain marked the end of the harvest season. It was believed that during Samhain, the veil between the living and the spirit world was the thinnest, allowing spirits to cross over. The Celts lit bonfires to ward off these spirits and honour their ancestors, a tradition that has influenced many modern Halloween customs. Halloween is not just about trick-or-treating, it's a holiday rich with history and tradition. Each element, from the candy we eat to the costumes we wear, has a story rooted in centuries-old beliefs and practices. So the next time you celebrate Halloween, remember, you're partaking in a rich tapestry of history that stretches back thousands of years. Halloween has come a long way from its Celtic roots, evolving into a global phenomenon. The holiday, previously known as All Hallows' Eve, has morphed into an occasion that transcends borders and cultures. It's a testament to our shared love for all things spooky and fun. In the United States, Halloween has been celebrated in some form or another since the mid-19th century. The traditions we associate with it today, however, really took shape in the 20th century. Trick-or-treating, costume parties, and haunted houses, to name a few, have become staples of the Halloween experience. These traditions quickly spread beyond the borders of the United States. Today you can find children trick-or-treating in the streets of London, teenagers attending costume parties in Tokyo, and families carving pumpkins in Sydney. Halloween's embrace of creativity, imagination, and a touch of the macabre has universal appeal. But Halloween is not just about candy and costumes. Some unique traditions have also emerged over time. Take apple bobbing, for instance. This game, which originated in Scotland, involves trying to bite into an apple floating in a tub of water without using your hands. It was believed that the first person to bite into an apple would be the next to marry. And let's not forget the impact of Halloween in literature. From Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow to Stephen King's Pet Sematary, authors have been using the holiday as a backdrop for their spooky tales for centuries. Edgar Allan Poe, with his chilling poetry and short stories, is often associated with the holiday, even though Halloween did not become widely celebrated until after his death. From ancient Celtic festival to worldwide celebration, Halloween's evolution is truly fascinating. It's a testament to the holiday's enduring appeal, and a reminder that sometimes we all need a little bit of fun and fright in our lives. So that's the unmasking of Halloween, a holiday that's much more than just costumes and candy. It's a celebration with a rich history, tracing back over 2,000 years to the Celtic festival of Samhain. We've seen how traditions like carving jack-o'-lanterns and trick-or-treating have evolved from ancient practices, and how costumes were originally designed to blend in with spirits. We've tasted the sweetness of Halloween traditions like candy corn, and felt the chill of haunted houses. We've explored the cultural significance of black cats and the Celtic beliefs surrounding Samhain. We've compared Halloween to other similar holidays, and seen how modern traditions have become a global phenomenon. And we've even bobbed for apples and delved into Halloween's presence in literature. All these threads weave together to create the vibrant tapestry that is Halloween today. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more fascinating shorts. Until next time, stay curious.